Welcome back everybody. So this is gonna be a really quick update video for you guys on stock market. Looks like everything going back up. Now, is this a trap? Let's see if we can find out here in this video. And let's get started with Dow Jones, which is up 569 points at this moment. And we still have, about 40 minutes left here in the trading session. Up on the day 1.76%. Nasdaq also up on the day 1.32%, 167 points on the day. S&P up 55 points on the day, 1.35%. And Russell, this is where everything shows right here. Russell is up on the day, but only 0.92%. And I think that is telling us something. This could be a dead cat bounce. And here's 11 sectors that makes up S&P 500, and pretty much everything in the green today except energy here on bottom. On top, communication services, consumer defensive, financial, industrials, technology, consumer cyclical, healthcare, utilities, basic material. And here on stock market map, what we got? Tesla down 5%, Amazon up almost 4%, Meta up 2%, Google up 2%, Netflix also up on the day 3.5%, Nvidia up close to 2%, Microsoft up on the day over 2%, and Apple up 1%. And all the banks and especially credit services right here, everything also in the green today. The only thing lagging behind right here, energy sector. So before we get started, I would really appreciate if you guys can hit that thumbs up button, because these videos that I make every day takes a lot of my time and it's not easy just come out and make a video. There is a lot that goes behind the scenes, a lot of retake and messing up and then redoing it. It takes a lot to make a video, guys. It's not simple. And if you're new here, and a lot of people are actually not new here, just watching and not subscribing, so I would greatly appreciate if you can actually hit that thumbs up button and also subscribe to the channel. Now, if you want to get my daily trade ideas, my swing trade ideas, and 3 days of live trading, then check out the link below in the description for Patreon. And now let's get started. Now, I don't have Webull today. I'm looking at right here, and if you look at my screen right here, expected move for this week on SPY. To the downside, bottom 400 and top 420. And look at, it's trading at 416 plus right now. Up on the day 1.35%. We still have a few minutes left before closing. And if you look at my screen, it's not bullish. At least we're not out of the woods yet. And why we're getting a bounce? It was getting really oversold. And this range right here, guys, this is a big range. Lots of consolidation here, rejection here, and then finally we saw that breakout, and guess what happened? Almost 460. And now coming back here and finding support. I mean, it has to find support here, because if that gives up, I mean, this thing can go down even more. 407. There is a gap at what, 404, I believe, or 401 right here. And then 396 right here, 401, and then 396. So the trend remains down on SPY ETF. And why? And just to make things clear, I don't have all the moving averages here on SPY ETF. Daily 200 SMA right here, 423, and it's trading below at least what is it, $7 below daily 200 SMA right here. Now we could see something like a push back up to 420, maybe a rejection from here, and then possibly can come down to 400, or we could see a push above 400 and going up to 423 right here to retest daily 200 SMA right here. And only if that breaks and SPY can hold above 423, then things will look much better and you can expect more upside here on SPY ETF. Until then, this could be a dead cat bounce. This could be a trap. So you got to be careful buying this dip and holding, especially weekly calls on SPY ETF. I mean, look at what happened today. It got up to, I think, 415 and some change, went back down again, all the way down to 412.41. Came back up, actually made a new high right now for the day. So upside for this week, we're almost hitting, 416 and a half, 417 maybe tomorrow. Only $3 left, 420. And that is why these levels are critical on SPY ETF. 420 and then 200 SMA on top, 423. If we can break and hold 200 SMA right here as a support, then definitely, SPY at least in the short term out of the woods, and we could see some more upside here. Now, tomorrow, somehow, this thing gets up to 420, gets rejected. That's also a big level, 4200 on SPX. And here on SPY, 420. If this thing gets rejected from 420, then watch out. We might be going back down to especially 411 to 410. And we did gap up today. It's not showing here on the daily chart. But if you look at some smaller time frame, you will see it. And SPY actually never came down to 410 today. So tomorrow, guys, this is going to be a key level to watch. As a support, 411 to 410. And weekly expected move. If the sell-off continues tomorrow, watch out for 400. We do have a gap at 407, I believe, and then 401. Also one down here, big gap, 396. And to the upside, SPY needs to break 420. And only if that happens, a little bit more upside up to 200 SMA right here, 423.11. And this is going to be your line in the sand right here. If this thing can actually break and hold 200 SMA as a support, then definitely you're going to see this, big sell-off, continuation to the downside, ending and possibly reversing to the upside. So keep that in mind next few days, and especially we have FOMC on Wednesday, Apple's earnings on Thursday night. So market can really move this week. So a lot of people actually look at whole bunch of charts, datas from 1987, 1929, 2002, 2008, and I think that they know everything. Well, this is 2023 and almost 2024, right? You don't have to do that. The more things, you look at, you're just going to be more confused. And why? Because if you look at small caps, this is what going to tell you what the market is going to do. And this big dump off, I predicted a couple weeks ago when this thing actually broke below 200 SMA, and I said everything else will follow. And guess what? S&P 500 also breaking below 200 SMA, and then Dow Jones. Only thing that is up, that is NASDAQ. And guess what? If this thing here does not get a bounce immediately, NASDAQ also coming down, guys. So, you don't really need a whole bunch of things. You can just look at small caps. And this is where it's telling you what's going to happen next, because look at this fading today. I mean, it was up over 1%. We were just talking about it 5 minutes ago. It was up close to 1%. And look at this now, only 94 cents up on the day, which is absolutely nothing here on small caps after this big beat down to the downside. And this is also a key level right here, 162 to 164. And this thing cannot even get above 164. If this thing can actually break and hold 164, then maybe there is a chance small caps IWM can go up to 169 to 170 right here, and that would be only a counter trend rally here on small caps. Now look at this 200 SMA right here sitting on top, 182, and it is actually nowhere near 200 SMA. So at some point, I don't know when that's going to happen, we could see a retracement, back up to 200 SMA right here at retest. And we just have to, wait and find out when that's going to happen. As of right now, I mean, look at this, guys. look at this level right here. It's holding 162. And if that gives up, what's going to happen next? Look at this. There's a gap down here, right? 155, 156, and then possibly can go down to 152. So next week, and especially this week, we do have FOMC meeting on Wednesday. This thing here needs to bounce above 164, then needs to hold, and then you could see some upside up to 169 to 170. Below 162, watch out for a dump off all the way down to 155 to 156 to that gap, and then possibly down to even 152. So I'm not using Webull today because I do have some other moving averages that I use on daily basis. Those are 5, 13, 20, and 50-day moving average. Now here I got a clear view of daily 200 SMA, and that is why only for today I'm using it so you guys can see what exactly happening in this market, and are we going back into a bull market, which is not the case. It cannot happen below 200 SMA on this daily chart, and it's sitting at 338. So this is gonna be your key level. This could be a dead cat bounce where we saw a rejection from 330 already today. So tomorrow, if this thing cannot break 330, then watch out for a new low and possibly getting down to right here, 322, to fill this gap all the way down here. Now, if this thing can break 330 and can hold right here, then watch out for a little bit more upside, possibly coming up to 332 to 333 right up here. And that's going to be also a big level where we can get rejected and still can come down here to fill this gap at 322 right here. Only way going back into bull market, holding right here, at least I would say around 330, and then pushing higher and breaking above 200 SMA, which is at 338. It's going to take some time, but we need to find a bottom somewhere. And so far, there is no bottom yet. It's just one day we got a bounce. It was getting really oversold. We got a bounce. So, watch out tomorrow. Maybe some follow through. Maybe you can break some levels like this one here. We can hold above 332, 333 right here. That will open the door up to this 200 SMA right here, 338. Until then, guys, this could be a dead cat bounce where we can get rejected from 330 and then possibly can come down here to fill this gap right down here at 322, and there could be even more downside if this thing actually breaks below 322 right here. On triple Q, it's up 1.13%, and look at what's happening. This was a big support down here, 350, 351. Again, it was holding above this level right here, came down and finally broke through that level right here. And now, look at 200 SMA right here. It's close to 340, right? And this is the only thing that is holding above 200 SMA, which is rising, and that is positive. But this thing, the moment triple Q takes out 340, that is when you gotta be careful, really careful in this market. We could see a significant move to the downside. And look at this gap down here, 332. So that's gonna be the next leg down below 340. If this thing breaks 340, I can tell you guys one thing. I would say 80 to 95% chance it will come down to 332. Now, if this thing can hold, and tomorrow we get that breakout over 350 to 351, and possibly can get up to 355, and that also breaks, then definitely it's out of the woods, and we can see some more upside, at least in the short term, on triple Q, because this one here, at least trading above 200 SMA on this daily chart. But this is gonna be your line in the sand right here, 340, and if that gives up, instantly you will know that this market has more room to the downside. On VIX, it's down 7% on the day, and this is why I want to show you guys what exactly happening here on VIX. 200 SMA sitting at 1739, and look at all these breakout to the upside, and mostly was actually failing to the upside. We went above 200 SMA, this thing got crushed, and then finally on this run we got this breakout right here, and then a pullback down to 200 SMA. It was holding, and then explosion from there all the way up to 23. So now it's below $20. So this is gonna be a key level to watch tomorrow. Above 20, this thing can run up to 23, and below 20, this thing can come down to $18, and then possibly can retest 200 SMA right down here, 17.39. So whenever you see VIX trading above 200 SMA, you got to be careful, especially trading in this environment, in this market, because this thing above 200 SMA, guess what? All the indices except NASDAQ 100 are trading below 200 SMA, and that is not bullish. So this is where it's concerning for this market. Now we have seen that before, TNX going up, SPY going up, Qs going up, everything going up, VIX coming down, and the next day, guess what? This thing getting a monster green candle, and everything comes down again. So you gotta watch this low down here, guys. This is gonna be your key level right here, 4.82. And only if that breaks, this thing will take a back seat, will come down here to fill this gap at 4.72. Now at some point, you can call it right here a wedge or a flag. It's there. Consolidation right here. And if this thing actually breaks above 5.0, guess what? The next stop, 5.25. And that's going to put a lot more pressure on everything pretty much in this market. Maybe not on energy and utilities, but pretty much everything else. Now on TNX, 200 SMA, 3.91, right? And the zombie companies that are borrowing money and making money, last few years since COVID crash, interest rate was low, 0%, 1%, 2, 3. They're making money. It's good. So we saw stocks like AFRM going up to 176, UPSD going up to almost 400, and now they cannot pay their bills. And that's just an example. There's so many out there. They cannot make money because rates are staying higher and longer. So if that continues, and this is why this FOMC meeting on Wednesday could be a market turning event, where we could see big sell-off or a huge U-turn in this market, and market can rip higher. This week on Wednesday, Jay Powell has to make a big decision. Pause, or maybe another 25 basis points, or not even raising anything and keeping the window open to raise more later. And guess what? He could be coming out and saying that it's going to stay higher and longer. We're not thinking about any pause anytime soon, which it did so many times before. And that is why we're seeing that effect in this market, because zombie companies are going out of business. And if that happens, how much longer mega caps can hold this market, guys? At some point it's going to give up, right? So unless the rates come down, we get a pause, especially for smaller companies. They will suffer. They will go bankrupt. And that's not good, especially for the stock market and also for overall economy. So you got to be careful, and you got to watch this thing. So someone is lying. It could be TNX, could be SPY, could be VIX, or maybe just SPY and triple Qs and all the other indices are lying today. And we're going to see a dump off where this thing will spike, VIX will spike again. So you got to be careful, especially when things are not looking good, and we got a big event coming on Wednesday, and then we also have earnings from Apple. So I hope all that makes sense to you guys. If you have any question or anything, you can follow me on my X account, and that link will be down below in the description also. And have a great night, everybody.